Yeah, so everyone has their own list of movies that they think they should probably watch at some point, even if they don't get around to it for a while. An example for me was last year I struck one of the movies off my list that people have been telling me for a while I should watch, but I hadn't for a while, and that was The Princess Bride, one of those 80s classics. Now, I'd heard a lot of good things about it. I'd read through the character descriptions, and I thought it sounded like a good movie. So last year, I bought it, sat down, watched it through, and I could see why people love it. I've already seen it twice already, and I think it's gearing up to be one of my favourites. It's a good film. But then recently, I also struck another one off my probably should watch list, and this one is a bit more recent. The movie was the Disney Pixar 2015 movie Inside Out. Now, when this movie came out, it would have been about 2015, so it would have been when I was about 18. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Disney Pixar. They've done quite a few great films. In fact, some of them have even shaped childhoods across the board. And I remember suddenly films like Toy Story and Toy Story 2, they got me through some particular times in my life. Like one time when I was either 10 or 11, I was in hospital and I was having an operation on my leg, and I remember listening to somebody watching and then the next day watching Toy Story 2. Got me through some pretty hard times. So, yeah, while I would kind of been rather young, the kind of first two Toy Story movies and A Bug's Life, I had those on VHS growing up. I even remember that we got the VHS of Monsters Inc. And I remember going to cinemas to seeing stuff from like Cars through to about Up. No, The Incredibles through to about Up. After that, with movies like Toy Story 3, Monsters University, while I did see those later on DVD, I wasn't kind of running to the cinema to see those. And with Inside Out through to kind of the more recent films, it was much of the same. I was at a point where I would watch them, but I wasn't running to the cinema to see them. The thing with Inside Out, though, was that I heard it was coming out, and I read kind of descriptions and reviews of it, and it generally seemed to be quite favourable. And 2 years ago, Christmas 2016, one Christmas present I got from a family member was the DVD of Brave, of another one of Disney Pixar's films. So eventually I just thought to myself, why not? I finally bought Inside Out, sat down, watched it through, and I don't know what I was expecting when I went into this film, but let me tell you, it was beautiful. I mean, I think I agree with people. I think this does rank up there, along with stuff like the kind of Toy Story trilogy, as some of Pixar's best work. I mean, a movie about emotions actually made me feel all the emotions that it set me up to do. I mean, it it made me feel happy, it made me feel sad, I felt scared at some points, angry, even disgusted at some parts. But you know what? They did it in a very relatable way. I mean, okay, I can't identify with everything on right that was going through Riley's head at that time, but I have kind of been through some parts of it. Like, okay, my family and we moved house when I was about 6, so honestly, I probably would have been very young at the time, and I probably didn't really understand what was going on most of the time. But I did understand all the emotions. I did understand what she was going through and how it might have felt. Okay, the movie sets you up to understand all the emotions, so you understand what she's going through, and it did that very well. I kind of feared that it might look a bit odd, like people might see me watching the movie and kind of make fun or say, "Oh, I shouldn't be watching that," but they saw me watch it and they thought it looked quite good as well. And I just think it's one of those beautiful films that you think it's one thing from the outside, you think it looks good, but then when you actually look a little closer, it's not just good, it's brilliant. I mean, I think, as people say, I think this marks up with some of the kind of greatest films that Pixar has ever done. I mean, take another kind of key scene from the movie. Spoilers ahead. I'm sorry about this, but the death scene of Bing Bong being forgotten. I personally don't remember if I had an imaginary friend growing up or not. I didn't think I personally did, but I might be wrong. But still, that was a character who you got to know through most of the movie. You got to kind of know from the memories and his interactions and whatnot. So when he's actually forgotten, okay, I probably wasn't. I wasn't gushing my eyes out as much as everybody else did, but I did feel sad. I did feel sorry for him. And in the end, that's what's so good about this movie. It makes you feel what it wants you to feel. It directs you in one direction emotionally, and then it follows through with it. You generally feel the full ascent of it. You feel the happiness, the sadness, the anger, the fear, and the disgust. And in the end, that's what great movies are supposed to do. They do set you up to feel these emotions, and if they can follow through and make you feel it, they're great movies. And Inside Out is a great movie. I mean, if you want to know more information about it, the kind of two best sources I would look to it are either the Nostalgia Critics 2015 Disney December review of it, where he goes into a lot more detail, and kind of the Super Carlin brothers, who I highly recommend you subscribe to if you haven't already. They're a great duo, and they talk a lot about Pixar films. So yeah, those are the two best sources I would suggest if you want a kind of closer look at Inside Out. But for someone who just kind of wants to view it from the outside, I say absolutely give it a shot. It was on my list of movies I should probably watch for a while, and I'm just sorry I didn't see it sooner. I urge you, if you haven't seen it already, give it a shot. It's beautiful. Anyway, until next time, see ya.